Hello, Michelle, the owner of Empower.world, is a truck driver and he's not a very good speaker. So he asked me to make this video for him, but he still wants to make the effort of addressing the issue of free speech at the end of this video. So this is his fundraising campaign to continue his project of an exact copy of Facebook. Now, if you go to empower.world right now, you will probably feel the need to send the following message like, hey, sorry, Michelle, but your site doesn't look like Facebook at all. Yes, in a sense, you are right, but there is a good explanation for that. Social media sites are built with a left and right sidebar and a center space where content is shared. So sidebars can be modified at any moment, whereas the center remains the same. So you are in fact seeing a copy of Facebook, but with different content in the sidebars. The words exact copy refers to Facebook's functionalities. In other words, our site mirrors exactly every action allowed on Facebook. Even if Facebook evolves daily, using WordPress makes it easy to stay one step ahead. Of course, instead of apps, we use plugins to add specific features. For example, if you can chat through Facebook, granting access to chatting in WordPress is as easy as clicking a button in the dashboard. So, by this process and with the help of the users, Empower.world will be simultaneously upgraded with Facebook. So, a simple email gets the job done. Hey Michelle, can you add this function to your site please? Boom! Mission accomplished. Function added. Although it is important to understand that there are limits to what can be done through social media. Okay, now that we have covered functionality, let's move on to design. There will be an explanation for why Michelle wanted it different later. For the moment, the focus will be on what rather than on why. So, in other words, what will be the difference between Facebook and Empower? Since nobody really knows what others see when they are logged into Facebook, here's a description of Michelle's Canadian homepage, a few ads on the top right with online contacts underneath, and then text links in the left sidebar and news in the center. So, of course, the entire page is controlled by artificial intelligence, and since 90% of online content is negative, Facebook bots are curating and feeding users a nihilistic experience. So, what will be the difference between Facebook and Empower? The mission. Michelle's objective is to provide a more positive adventure and hang out where humans instead of artificial intelligence controls the content to make it sure it doesn't become destructive. Of course, that is easier said than done, and it took him 2 years to figure it out, making sure that the eyeballs landing on a homepage only sees uplifting content isn't a walk in the park, and the undertaking would include many steps. The first step had to be taken into consideration the fact that users can only influence the center space. So, step 1, control the sidebars and make sure they remain optimistic. Empower secured these two battlegrounds by delivering a permanently static sidebar on the right and a periodically static one the left. So, the videos you see in the left sidebar will change from time to time, but the content will remain under Michelle's jurisdiction. If the aim of step 1 was to safeguard the sidebars, then the next logical step had to manifest itself as a shield against bullies who want to attack the center space. So step 2, convince the public that the biker of the center needs to be sedated. Needless to say that this could not be wrapped up until humans realized that the marriage between the masses and the proverb, misery loves company, is responsible for giving birth to negative content. Pessimists prefer posting a video of someone getting punched in the face rather than a video of someone winning a fight against cancer. Why? Because everyone wants everyone to know how miserable they are. without understanding that the reason they are miserable in the first place is that everyone else wants everyone to know how miserable they are. So this pendulum reflects the severe scene in Ghostbusters, wherein the dark energy of New Yorkers gives rise to slimy demons. In this case, instead of slimy demons, it's total guerrilla warfare on social media. The human needs to scream misery from the rooftops is simply too powerful. The cosmos had to give Michelle the authority to appease planet Earth. So, in step 2, Michelle was simply playing the part of Mr. Howard Beale from the movie Network. He was shouting to the world, "This is mass madness, you maniacs! For God's sakes, give me the control of the center." And even though his bark successfully managed to make Earthlings surrender to sanity, he still had to deal with the fact that raising awareness alone was not enough. Centrist space warfare couldn't be reduced from its current 90% to 0 without a serious plan. So step 3, revealing the plan. So the most important question facing humanity right now is, how can we stop humans from posting fatalistic content? Well, governments worldwide have now decided to use censorship to end the online hysteria. Michel believes that his solution is more reasonable. So ingenious, in fact, that government should just stay out of it and let him handle his mess. This mess. With that being said, government funding would be appreciated. The remedy, of course, is to reward users for being positive. So, on InPower, users will receive points for posting constructively. After a certain amount of points, users will be able to exchange their points for cash. The point system is already installed but requires a lot of testing to get it right. For example, should 1 point be given for posting text, 2 points for a picture, and 3 points for a video? All this technical mumbo jumbo will be addressed later, depending on how much funding can be raised. But philanthropists must understand that rewarding users for posting kindly won't stop intimidators, right? So corrective measures need to be applied, or the nihilist and his dreary crowd will always overpower the platform. On Facebook, users decide what content should be removed. On InPower, Michelle will decide. So, content judged useless will be deleted immediately. Of course, the public reaction to such an authoritative maneuver will probably sound like, "Hey Michelle, are you crazy? That's even worse than the government censorship." Michelle anticipated that reply and gives the masses a chance to cool down in step 4. So step 4, show the public how the plan is less irritating than government censorship. Okay, so this is how InPower will work. Michelle will be using subdomains. For an example of subdomain, simply go to movers.inpower.world. Michelle will be using exact copies of InPower on subdomains. The main landing page will be censored totally. Yes, 100% censorship. But the second homepage, which will be located on a subdomain, will be only 75% censored, a third one only 50%, and so on. However, no points will be given for posting on a subdomain, as the goal is to brighten up the main homepage. In social media, this strategy has never been used before. Although it sounds complicated, it's not rocket science at all. It's as easy as placing an icon in the left sidebar and bingo. Users click on the icon and they are still on the same site, but the address bar is different. Michelle also wants important influencers to have their own space on a subdomain, but for influencers, the page would look like YouTube, not Facebook. Now, it's important to mention that a site like this will require a lots of funding, because humans instead of AI will control the content. That means that the headquarters will have to be in a country where wages are lower than in the USA, like India for instance. Lots of workers will have to be hired, and the site will be constantly under attack, and that means being in contact with many people 24 hours a day. And security experts do not reply quickly. Adding the best features cost lots of money. Bandwidth alone will cost a fortune. So I will be expecting public and government fundings. And I mean all governments.